Welcome to Three Films and a Podcast, the show where Destiny brought together three friends to enhance each other's cinematic journey by watching three new movies in a series of themed rounds. There is no claim of ownership on any film footage used in this episode, as all film footage is owned in its entirety by the copyright holders. And just like every car in Too Fast, Too Furious, this podcast contains spoilers. Enjoy!
All right. Hello and welcome back to Three Films and a Podcast. My name is Tyler Beck and I am joined by my two-person muse.
Hell yeah.
It's a two-headed monster muse. I don't know where I'm going with that, but it's Ben Lawhorn and it's Matt Weiler. You know him and you love him. And Ben is here to tell you all about our website and all those sorts of things.
If you open up your internet browser of choice, you can go to www.threefilmspod.com and you can find everything you need from us on there. And honestly, a lot of stuff you don't need, but it's all there. You have links to all of our episodes, which is cool. We have some awesome merch that Matt has designed, which is awesome and very limited edition. So get it. And also we have a Patreon on there where you can support us because we can't monetize these episodes because we put a lot of clips and cool stuff in here for you guys to watch. So getting your support means everything to us. So you can just join the Movie Club Producers Guild. And that's pretty cool thing to be in. So yeah, check us out at threefilmspod.com.
Yes, do that. You mentioned some like clips we put in videos. What's that all about, Matt?
Well, if your social media persuasions extend beyond watching us here on YouTube, which I'm assuming you're doing, if you're not, I recommend you do check us out on YouTube. But if your persuasions take you elsewhere, like say Facebook, Instagram, do we have a MySpace? I don't think we have a MySpace. Twitter,
Twitter.
All of them. Check us out at Three Films Pod. We tweet things, and we just like sure movies.
Yeah. Can you imagine if we had a MySpace? Like it'd just be a battle for our top 8, like that would just be a bloodbath trying to figure out who would be in our top 8. We couldn't do it.
That'd be a fun challenge.
Can we just do Adam Driver 7 times?
Adam Driver.
That'd be cool. And then Larry Crown for the 8th spot.
Yeah. When the fictitious Larry Crown and then the very real Adam Driver makes up our top 8.
Friend of the pod.
And yeah, we definitely recommend that you watch us on YouTube or on Spotify video, I suppose. Ben mentioned the episode clips and stuff that the intern puts into our videos. We keep the intern working hard, and so we don't want that effort to be wasted. And we feel that our product is best consumed through a visual medium like YouTube. But regardless, we're just happy to have you here, whether you're listening or watching. We love the Movie Club. We're happy to have everyone with us. So thank you for your support. So this week's episode finds us at the beginning of our remakes round. And this round is going to work a little different than a typical round in that we'll be exploring 6 total movies. Typically we do 3. The idea here is we want to explore some remakes, obviously along with their originals. So instead of the 3 movies to go along with the theme, we've got 3 different pairs of original and remade movies spread out over 6 episodes. And if you're not following me, the boys are throwing up some handy fingers to help you count down.
I was trying to do the Inglourious Bastards, like talk loud.
Oh, right. Yeah. It's very good. So yeah, all in all, we're going to be exploring 1984's Dune, directed by David Lynch, along with the Denis Villeneuve directed remake from 2021, as well as another 2021 remake, this time by Steve Spielberg. Ever heard of him? And his little film called West Side Story, along with the Jerome Robbins and Robert Wise. Do you guys know those guys? I've never heard of them.
J-Dog? Yeah, I'm real tight with Jerome. And
real tight with
Robert
J-Dog.
Wise, yes, best friends.
Well, they directed the original West Side Story, and that came out in 1961.
You don't say.
Personally, I'm really looking forward to Dune, although I am looking forward to all of the remakes. But Dune, I don't know. I'm just really excited. I've been wanting to watch that for a while. But as for this week's episode, we are obviously here to cover A Star is Born, starting with the 1976 version directed by Frank Pearson, another director who I have no familiarity with. And this movie stars Barbra Streisand and some guy from Blade, the old guy from Blade. I think his name is Chris.
The old guy from Blade.
The old guy from Blade. Also, our boy Gary Busey makes a few appearances in the movie, but honestly, Streisand and Kristofferson. Yeah,
I could not have been more thrilled. These are like the roles he's born to play.
Yeah, 100%.
For sure. It's kind of funny thinking of him being like the roadie here, as well as I'm just like comparing him to the Buddy Holly story.
Yeah,
right?
I couldn't stop thinking about Buddy Holly the whole time with these music movies. Yeah.
And he's in here a little bit, maybe not as much as I might like, or the boys here at 3 Films Pod might like. But honestly, Streisand and Kristofferson pretty much carry this entire movie. And I just kind of want to jump straight into our first impressions and personal experience with the movie. Ben, I haven't talked to you for so long. You've been gone, and I've missed you. So, tell us all your first impressions and whatnot.
I thought you were going to follow it up with, so we're going to go to Matt first. And then,
so let's keep that going.
Let's keep it up. I mean, this was a first watch. I was excited you picked this. I think this is possibly the first time we've watched, or we'll end up watching, a second and third remake of a movie. Like the fact that this has been done now 3 and 4 times is kind of crazy. But going into this round, you talked about the 6 movies we're watching. The only one I've seen is the next episode, the newest Star is Born. So I was excited to kind of go back because this one seems like the classic. Like, I don't think people were too upset about like the Judy Garland one getting remade, like when the Bradley Cooper one's coming out, it was like the Barbara and Kris one. So I was excited to finally see this. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of cool surprises in here. Obviously Busey, fucking Freddy Krueger shows up at a bar. Like, I was like, wait, hold on. That's Robert Englund. That's amazing. Like, I had no idea he was going to be in here. I think he's even uncredited. So this must've been just like super early for him, which is pretty rad. But yeah, I don't know. Like I enjoyed it. I unfortunately, the app I watch it through shows the Rotten Tomatoes score. And so it was just like 38%. I was like, oh wow. Like, this feels like something people genuinely like. So, or, for the most part, it seems like something people enjoy. So I was surprised to see that ranking on there. I don't know that I agree with it entirely. Like being that low, that seems a little too low for me, but it's not fantastic by any means. It's definitely a movie of its time. My partner and I were trying to figure out, like, is this like is he supposed to be like a Neil Diamond type character? Like, we couldn't tell at the beginning what he was supposed to be, and that kind of changed, probably purposefully, but like that changed throughout the movie. I know the writers that said that they went for a 3-month tour with Zeppelin and Jethro Tull to kind of see what life is like on the road. It's like you can kind of see some of those things working their way in, kind of the craziness like of the behind the scenes, but they're both great. I know that, if people want to go back and listen, or if the intern has the energy to look for it, there is the time when I referred to Kris Kristofferson as that guy from Blade, and you're like, wait, what? No, like he's like an actual singer. He's an artist. Like, I had no idea. So it was cool to see him actually like performing and stuff, which was pretty rad.
Yeah, it's crazy. He was a big deal back in those times. I was actually trying to think of like who a good comp for Kris Kristofferson would be, like right now, like someone that was really big in their moment. I can't really think of anyone, but it's maybe, we can put a pin in that. And if we think of something, we can talk about it.
I wonder, like, I don't know enough about like how big he was back then. I think he was really big, but the first thing I thought of was kind of Harry Styles, who was just like acting, but also has like a pretty big following. It's a very different type of music, obviously, but like as far as the popularity and fame while also dipping into acting, I have no idea, but that was the first thing I thought of. It could be way off. If you are a Kris Kristofferson fan, please let us know who's today's equal. But yeah,
maybe like Zac Efron.
Yeah, I could see that, I guess. Yeah.
Well, you have Justin
He's
Timberlake
like in
too.
some stuff. He's not
JT.
Yeah, Timberlake's probably a better one.
Because he's probably gone more into acting now. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
That's a great comp.
So yeah, last little fun fact though, I think this speaks to his talents is like the scene with all the concert and stuff. Like they sold it to the extras as a concert with Kris Kristofferson and Barbra Streisand. Also had Peter Frampton and Santana, and tickets were $3.50. Like they sold out the Sun Devil Stadium, 47,000 people. Like it was an actual concert they put on. But the draw was Kristofferson and Barbra Streisand. It's like, oh, these people were like, I knew Barbara was, but like Kristofferson was like a legit artist. So that was really cool to see. I really enjoyed those scenes. I think it was it was, I don't know, it was cool to watch. And again, like for me, having the other one in my mind while I'm watching this, it's like cool to see what they pulled and what they didn't. So I'm excited to get to the comps next week of like what crosses over and what doesn't. But Barbara's great. Kris was great. Like it was a good movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was cool to see both of them in sort of as you alluded to, their prime. I'm familiar with Barbra Streisand as just like a pop culture icon. I haven't seen her. I'm sure I've seen her in other things, but like nothing else comes to mind. So this is like the first like actual performance that I recall just like being able to sit and enjoy her in. And so that was cool. I do feel like I couldn't connect to this time period through the music and through like the vibe that it was carrying. And so I didn't have as much of a connection as I do obviously to the new one. And it just made me wonder, like, is the reason these keep getting remade because 30 years from now, like that Star is Born is not going to resonate with the crowd 30 years from now. And then it'll be fresh again to like retell the story again. So I had those thoughts in my mind. But I mean, overall, it was fine. I didn't necessarily like love the music the same way that like you watch Purple Rain. It's like every single thing is awesome. This one's like, you know, I could have fast forwarded through some of these musical numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I apologize to anyone I offended with that. I apologize.
Well, I mean, you may have offended me before I saw the movie. I was actually surprised how little I liked the Kristofferson stuff. Because I really like him as a singer-songwriter. I like a lot of his stuff, and he's written some. Obviously, he's not going to give his classics to this movie. You know what I mean? But like,
I loved him in Blade.
You know, he wrote. Yeah, he's great in Blade, and he wrote some really great music. You know, not only for himself, but that's sort of how he got his start, was as a songwriter in country music. So, you know, he wrote songs for Johnny Cash and all sorts of different people. So I was really looking forward to his music, and I was like, honestly, pretty bummed out. I was like, this isn't that. It's not. I didn't like it. I don't know. I'm not going to say it's good or not, but I didn't personally like it. But what also surprised me is how much I fucking loved Barbra Streisand. I don't have any real familiarity with her. I don't know any of her music. I think this is the first movie that I've seen that she's in, at least knowingly. I may have seen something she was in earlier in life and I just didn't register it, but hot damn, Babs, she fucking crushed it. I was like genuinely blown away. She's so good in this. And it was the exact opposite of what I thought was going to happen. I thought I was going to really enjoy Kris and just be like whatever with Barbara, but I couldn't have been more wrong. She floored me, man. I was like, okay, I get it. I see why she was such a big deal. Because not only I really enjoyed her music. There was one or two songs in particular that I really enjoyed. We can talk about those later, but it was more so like I really bought her as an actor. I really bought her character as well, and I thought she knocked it out of the park, man. I was truly blown away by her performance. And I had never seen the original. That's actually why I picked this remake when we decided we were going to do remakes. I had always wanted to see the Bradley Cooper Lady Gaga version, and I figured, well, this is a perfect opportunity. So all in all, I think it was a pretty great introduction to this story and everything. But again, I don't know if I could say enough about how awesome I think Barbra Streisand is now. Do you guys know a lot about her outside of this movie?
I knew like a little bit of her. I think the thing that stuck with me the most, like I knew from her other acting stuff, like What's Up Doc and Yentl, like to be clear, things I haven't seen. I just was like aware that she was in. I think maybe all of us saw her. She was in Meet the Fockers. and Lil Fokker. So
Right.
if either of you
Okay,
seen
that's
that, but honestly, that like might
That's
be
right.
kind of it. But yeah, Prince of Tides. I know she has some like pretty, big movies. I think, does she like direct Yentl or something like that? Like that was kind of a big deal. Yeah, she directed that. Won the Academy Award.
Was it
in
Funny
this
Girl?
movie.
Like
Yeah,
a
Funny
big one
Girl
of
was like her
hers?
first thing. But honestly, the thing I think about her the most now is what we refer to as the Streisand effect.
You're right.
Which, where you try to hide something, but you hide it, or you want it hidden it so badly, but it just draws more attention to it. Like if people aren't familiar with the story, the botched version is she didn't want people taking pictures of like her coastal house, like the government or whatever. And it became such a big deal that everybody saw the photo of where her house is, and it just like drew more attention, where like nobody would have known where it was, but she like fought it so hard that now everybody knows where she lives. So yeah, it's essentially just the unintended consequence of like trying to do that. I was just thinking about the Streisand effect the whole time. I was like, man, that's crazy. That's probably going to be like her lasting thing for a lot of us.
That's so funny.
Is her doing that. But yeah.
That's a shame, man, because she's truly phenomenal. I mean, I know I'm way late to the party here. Like I was talking to my parents about this. My mom really liked this movie.
Nice.
I think she was a teenager when it came out. She was, she loved country music, so she obviously knew Kristofferson and obviously Streisand, but she had really fond memories of this movie. And so, yeah, I just that's a shame that she's going to be known for something like that, which I guess is another strange example of the Streisand effect.
Yeah. She's also she's indirectly part of a story arc in Licorice Pizza, which is kind of fun. She's not directly in it, but it's just a fun little thing. And Bradley Cooper's in that, and he's in The Next Star Is Born. So there's some connections here. So gonna plug Licorice Pizza here.
Oh, the last thing I want to say about this before we move on is it's noted that I was a huge fan of Elvis from last year. Loved that movie. And they kind of talk about this movie in it as well, because Barbra wanted Elvis in the Kristofferson role.
That's right.
But his manager, played horribly, whatever, by Tom Hanks, but like just asked for too much, want to give Elvis top billing, but he hadn't acted in like a decade, whatever. But Barbra really wanted Elvis. And while I was watching this, I was also thinking about that, like, man, this would, I guess maybe just because I have more of a connection to Elvis, like I don't like Kristofferson is just like an actor or whatever, like as I've, framed him, but to see Elvis do like the, fall from grace kind of storyline as he kind of had in real life at that point, I'm curious how that would have affected this movie and if it would like be more resonant in pop culture or whatever. Cause it seems like it was just like him telling his story to some extent, it would have been really cool to see that, I think. But obviously Kristofferson's a great actor, nothing to take away from what he did, but I would love to see this version with Elvis.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. It's one of those crazy Hollywood sliding doors moments.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, elevators have sliding doors. That's fun.
Yeah.
So why don't we head over to the elevator and do some elevator pitches? We are going to pick one scene each. For those of you that don't know what our elevator pitch is, one scene each that we might show you if we were stuck in an elevator to convince you to watch this movie instead of the Bradley Cooper Lady Gaga version.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
I have a theory about how this is going to go. I always do. I like to try and pick what you guys are going to pick. And let's start with Matt. I always love to try and guess his, so I want to see if we can get it out of the way.
Oh, sure.
Sure.
So mine, just to give a little bit of background on this movie, the main character, Kris Kristofferson's character, is sort of like a washed up superstar. Still has a big following, but his behavior's been very problematic. Anyways, he gets out of a show after a really bad gig, and it took all my power not to just have Gary Busey cursing at him at the beginning as my elevator pitch, just because I loved every second of that. Honestly, like, not even kidding, I loved every moment Gary Busey was on the screen in this movie.
He was fit for this role.
But I really loved him going to the bar and just the conversation with that couple and starting the brawl and just like everything that ensued after that. And I think that's what I would show just to, pique the interest of those on the elevator.
System is soft, man. It's great.
That shit. Hey, Donald, why don't you go out there and sing us a song?
Hey, man, I can't. They're working.
You tell me about work, superstar. I work for a living.
Those who were stuck with me. I like the reaction of the guy. He's like I can't remember what he says. He says something insulting, and the guy's like, "What are you trying to say?" And then it like ends up in a punch. I'm like, God, this is good.
Well, and you get some good stuff from Barbra in that scene. She's doing her damnedest to perform over all this hullabaloo.
She is,
and you get some pretty good drunk acting from Kristofferson. He may not have been acting. He looked pretty hammered.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of flavors in that scene.
I loved that scene because one of my biggest nitpicks in any movie or TV show is when there's a group of people and two characters are talking and somehow no one else can hear them. It always does two things. It annoys me because I know they can hear them. And it also gives me this like secondhand anxiety because I would be afraid to get in trouble if I was talking in a situation like that. Like I wouldn't want to be called out for being the disturbance. You know what I mean? So I'm always afraid for the characters that they're going to get in trouble. But this scene, it's clear that everyone can hear them, and that's part of it. So I really appreciated that. It took a lot of that anxiety away from me.
That's awesome. I honestly did not expect either of you to pick that scene because that's what I was going to pick as well. For a couple of reasons. Number one, again, as I mentioned, Robert Englund shows up here, who famously is Freddy Krueger. And I would just love to tell someone, like, if you want to see if there are other iconic horror villains in this movie, watch the rest of it. Who knows? We'll see. Maybe someone will show up. Maybe Mike Myers shows up. We'll never know.
Oh, behave. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
Also, speaking of problematic things, like the fact that Barbra Streisand is in a girl group with two black women and they're called the Oreos.
Not great.
Wait, hold on. Like, did I hear that right? Like,
a star is born, Ben. A star is born.
There were a few moments in this movie I'm like, I had to like, wait, do I need to rewind that? Like, what did they just say? I don't remember them, but yeah, the Oreo part, that was a cringe moment for sure.
Yeah, it was a lot, but I mean, that was my scene too, just for that same reason. Like, I love the back and forth of like, we don't have the license. You can't have the liquor here. It's like, all right, well, like, I won't tell anyone if you don't, like, give me a green tea, but hold the green tea, like just all that, or the herbal tea or whatever. Like, I really liked that. I'm probably just going to ride Matt's coattails because that was the scene that kind of hooked me too. So yeah, that's what I would go with.
Well, I was completely wrong on all counts. Well, not completely wrong. I thought for sure Matt was going to pick the first time that he takes off on a motorcycle. I was dying. I was fucking dying. When he says, we're going to give the people what they want, and he jumps the motorcycle and
that'd
flies
be more
off
on brand.
the stage.
It's like, what the freak am I watching?
That was unbelievable. I was laughing so hard. Like, that just, it genuinely killed me. I thought Matt was going to pick that one, and I thought Ben would pick something musical, which I guess is kind of true, because like we said,
I mean, honestly, my backup scene right then was going to be the concert, like when he makes her sing and everyone gets on board. But there's a few good scenes. Like, I don't want to step on whatever you're going to say, but yeah, I don't know. We could talk about it after you give your pick.
Well, so I'm glad you brought up the scene where he brings her on stage, because the song she sings, I think that's when she sings "Woman in the Moon," right?
I think so.
That song rules.
Yeah.
And her performance of it was really cool. I love that it was just a one shot, just tight on her face the entire performance. I thought that was really cool. And it was just like, so, I guess for lack of a better word, representative of her talent, because all you need is just a camera on her face. And I was transfixed, man. I was like, holy shit. Like, this is Barbra Streisand. Like, okay, I get it. Like, she's awesome. So I really liked that. The only reason I wouldn't show that scene, I guess, is like, I don't know, I would want someone to like see that in the moment. But I think if someone was concerned that the music wasn't going to be good in this movie, like, that might be the way to go.
Yeah.
I also the one song that I liked of Kris Kristofferson's, and I think it's what I would pick for my elevator pitch, was the very beginning of the movie, his first performance when he sings that "Go to Hell" song, and they put on the crazy Halloween masks.
Yeah.
I liked that song. I thought that performance in that scene was pretty cool, and I think watching that scene, you would kind of just want to know, like, whoa, like what's going on with this movie? Because to be honest, like his style of music, he definitely had this definitely I could see like Jethro Tull, like some of that like psychedelic prog rock, like 70s psych music. It was just different than I thought it was going to be. I thought it would be more like arena rock or like more like Journey than Jethro Tull. You know what I mean? So I think like it'd be cool to show you like this is the kind of flavor you're getting into. Like this movie does some interesting things and there is some good music in here. And as far as Kris is concerned, this is probably his best song. So
for sure. And I mean, I'm glad I kept
go.
my thoughts to myself because that was the scene I was going to mention, was just like, it was cool seeing him like kind of needling the crowd. It's like, I'm sick of playing this. Like, we're going to do something different. Everyone starts booing him. And all he's doing is like changing shirts, and he's like, and if you don't like this, then you can go to hell. Then we kick into the new song. It's like, this was all just like a bit. Like, and everyone's super mad at him for not playing his big hit or whatever. But I really like that. Yeah. Then all the masks and all that kind of stuff. Like, I love seeing like the trumpet section with like inside their mask. It was like, it was pretty funny to see all that stuff. But
Gary Busey just wandering around nagging him.
It was I don't know. I'm glad you mentioned that scene. I enjoyed that scene quite a bit.
So do you guys have a favorite song from the movie? I mean, The Woman in the Moon I think is mine, like hands down. But was there anything different from you guys?
For me, that's probably the song. I didn't, like I said, I didn't really take to the music in this the way that I don't have to be a fan of the genre or the music to really appreciate musical numbers in shows like these. But for whatever reason, for this one, I just wasn't vibing with any of them really.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know what this song was exactly, but whatever the first one is, like after he brings her and just like unknowingly pulls her on stage and kind of gets in with the band and stuff. Like I liked that song. I don't remember what it was called, but I thought that was good.
Yeah, putting you on the spot there for sure. But I think I almost feel like Kristofferson was just giving him throwaway songs, like I don't know if those are songs that he was made to sing or if he brought those to the table, but it's just like, you're better than this, Kris. I know it. I've seen it. Well, so I've been singing Babs's praises, less so Kris Kristofferson, but people really seem to like him. I mean, he won a Golden Globe for this performance. So I was actually pretty surprised to see that. I didn't love him in this movie. I thought he was fine. But I don't know. I just was kind of surprised that I didn't like him more, but let's fill out a Rushmore of our best, we're calling them crossover performances. So
these are OR scrubs. Oh, are they?
Like a singer, a musician, or I guess if you really want to, a comedian or an athlete turned actor. What's the best performance you can think of? Since we have since it's a 4-slot thing and there's only 3 of us, let's just go ahead and put A Star Is Born in here. Unless we can think of a better, maybe, what we should do? Let's put Purple Rain on there as the default. So the 3 of us have to pick something different.
Okay.
I like it a lot.
Yeah. So Purple Rain will be etched in there, and then we'll figure out something else. Like Benjamin, let's hear it from you first.
Wow. All right, on the spot here.
Yeah.
So are we doing like a performance or just like someone who's been a good?
Yeah, let's go with just one single performance. What's your favorite crossover performance?
Wow.
This is a tough one. I actually don't know mine yet.
I think this kind of just coincides with the movie that I enjoy a lot, and I didn't expect this performance from this actor who is also a rapper. But I'm going to go with Awkwafina in The Farewell.
Ooh, I like
that. That's a very strong performance, and for someone who broke onto the scene with scene with a song called My Vag. I didn't expect a ton, like I didn't know what to expect. Like I knew she was funny, but I didn't expect her to like get me emotional and stuff like that movie did. And I know it's more than just her, but a lot of it hinges on her being the protagonist of that movie. I love The Farewell. I think it's a great film. I highly suggest it to anybody. So that's what I'm going to go with. I feel like I want to get her on here.
Yeah.
Love it. That's a great pick.
Wonderful pick. Yeah. Can you follow that up, Weiler?
Not
Good
well.
luck.
Not well. I'm going to roll with a comedian, or sorry, not a comedian. I'm going to roll with an athlete crossover for my main, just because I feel like I love talking about this performance, but man, I love Kevin Garnett in Uncut Gems.
Dude.
Yeah.
Give me
So
Kevin
good.
Garnett in Uncut Gems every single time. Yeah, he's just so intense about that gem. And
I mean, I love his line. Like, why would you show it to me if I can't have it?
Yeah, exactly.
He's so mad. He's like, don't show it to me if I can't have it.
I use that
It's so
line
good.
like in real life quite a bit. It's very handy.
Yeah. I think about it a lot.
yeah, I love it. But I do want to give an honorable mention since we're, shouting musician performances. I want to give it one to Ludacris in the movie Crash.
Mhm.
I thought he did awesome.
Yep.
Obviously, we know him in Fast and the Furious movies as well, but
Not
Ludacris
too
crossed
Fast
over.
and Furious, but all right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. I dig it. So we're going we're going rapper heavy, I guess. Yeah, because I'm also picking a rapper turned actor. He's not everyone's favorite person in the world right now, but I frankly don't care about that. But it's pretty well documented on this podcast that Will Smith owned like 4 summers of my youth. So we're gonna put him in here for Independence Day. Actually, you know what? Men in Black. We're gonna put him in there for Men in Black. I freaking love that movie.
There we go.
That movie's so good, and he's really awesome in it. And I don't care, man. I still like Will Smith. We gotta let people make their
I was gonna
mistakes
throw him out there
and
as
make a comeback.
honorable mention. It was be like, other than the last 2 years, whatever happened, like he probably deserves it the most, especially for like lifetime achievement, like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like the dude's a legit good actor, like Pursuit of Happiness and stuff. But I was like, we at least need to throw him an honorable mention. So I'm not mad about him being here. One person I pushed aside because I thought we were doing full career things, but I will give honorable mention to, again, rapper heavy. And I know it's his own story, but Eminem in 8 Miles, like, he actually is pretty decent. It's another person like, I didn't know what to expect. I knew you were funny when you rapped, but like he gives a powerful performance in there.
Totally.
I still would be curious to see, like, he's had some little bit parts in different movies here and there, but I would be curious to see him carry a character that was a little further departure from himself. I still think his performance is great. And I know like playing yourself is difficult and it takes talent to do so, but I don't know. I think he could do it. And I would love to see him try something else, but
Yeah, it's interesting. This is one I feel like we could have done a individual Rushmore. Like we could have each picked 4 easily because there's so many good honorable mentions here, I think, with like Wahlberg and Fear and Beyonce is Foxy Cleopatra, and we already talked about JT, him and Social Network. Like, drop like it's like a great little cameo performance. He does a wonderful job. So,
lots of wrestlers. Obviously we got The Rock, Stone Cold,
Madonna,
some work
in
Batista,
League of Their Own.
My favorite wrestler, Madonna.
Madonna was
different kind
I
of
was
wrestling.
going to pick Madonna until I thought of Will Smith, but that's nice. A great call out. All right. Well, is there anything else we need to cover before we get out of here? Before we flash forward to the future and visit Lady Gaga and
before we go Gaga,
the exact same story.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, again, like talking about people like Gaga deserves this too. Like her turn in American Horror Story is great. We'll talk next week about this movie. I think she's fantastic in it. So, I'm excited to get to this new movie.
Next week's Rushmore, or next episode's Rushmore, should be actors performing in a movie. You know what I mean? Like actors performing as musicians. Best musical
like the Cooper
performance
role.
Yeah, or like not to step on the segment too much, but like Walk the Line, like Joaquin and Walk the Line, stuff like that.
That's good.
Yeah, that's a good That's a good bookend.
Little teaser. Maybe I'll bleep all this out so people have no idea and they have to come back next week.
Oh, that'd be fun. That's just more work for the intern.
That's true.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap it up. So thank you everyone for hanging out with us and listening. And, if we have any egregious errors or omissions from the conversation, please let us know in the comments. We'll get the intern on it and they'll reply as soon as they're available. And give us a follow on all the socials at 3filmspod. Check out our website, 3filmspod.com. Buy some merch and sign up for Patreon. And
3 Films.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Hello there, little boy. Do you know who I am?
No.
Oh, I bet you do. I'm going where there's lucky clovers in
that sucks, dude.
I'm Barbra Streisand.
So
I'm a very famous and very important individual.
Like John Elway important?
What?
Do you know John Elway?
No.
Oh, so you're really famous and important, but you don't know John Elway.